The Aurora Australis coin has finally turned up. It is a very cool coin. I'm very impressed. And I'm going to also tell you a little bit more about back in the day when I used to be a little bit of a rock star in my own little world. The new Aurora Australis coin, I believe it's a joint venture with Downies and the Perth Mint. So I think Downies have organised it and the Perth Mint have actually produced the coin. For those that are unaware, I actually used to work at Downies for a couple of years. So I have some really close ties there. And Luke, who is now the director, was actually one of the guests at my wedding. Here we go, first look. Alrighty, nice little certificate here. Gives you a number. The total mintage is only 2000, so a relatively low mintage for an interesting coin like this. And I actually quite like it. Nice and simplistic. They haven't filled it with a heap of information, and I actually quite like that. Onto the coin. Woo! I love it. I really like it. I've always been a sucker for coloured coins, particularly ones like this. Anything relating to the Aurora Australis, also known as the Southern Lights. That was actually my favourite stamp series that was ever produced. Now for the little story from back in my heyday. So I found myself in Hobart playing a gig with my band, and I was a very big fan of the Southern Lights stamp series. So much so that I managed to get in touch with one of the photographers that took one of the images that was used for the stamp, or one of the stamps. His name was James Garlick. So prior to getting up on stage and doing my little gig, James actually came down to the show and presented me with as I understand it, the only large print of that particular image. So the stamp had a cropped version of the image, and I now have a framed version of that full image, which I treasure. I've moved around quite a lot. Everywhere I go, that's the first thing to go up on the wall to present, and I really, really love it. So I've got a soft spot for Tassie. In my humble opinion, it's the greatest state in Australia. One day I'll end up there, but not just yet. Back to the coin, having a closer look. You've got an image. I actually don't know specifically if it's a particular landscape, but I imagine it's somewhere most likely in Tasmania, southern Hobart or something like that. I don't know if I've ever seen anyone out in a wooden boat out on the water looking at the Southern Lights, but maybe that's something worth looking into. See if they do some wooden boat tours. But in all seriousness, I really, really like this coin. It's a beautiful design. Limited mintage of 2000, so... Oh, this is interesting. We've got the Ian Rank Broadley portrait of Queen Elizabeth, perhaps due to it being issued as a Tuvalu dollar. So often there are limitations as to how much currency or how many coins the mint can produce in any given year. So you'll often see that some of the more unique designs such as these get issued under Cook Islands or Tuvalu or something like that. So I don't actually know why they haven't used the Jodie Clark portrait, but here we have the Ian Rank Broadley portrait of Queen Elizabeth. The Aurora Australis, also known as the Southern Lights, is a naturally occurring phenomenon. Up in the skies, you can see a wide array of really bright colours that are very, very interesting to see. I've got to be honest, I haven't seen it firsthand. It's on the bucket list. Maybe it's something I'll make a video on, Thompson's Coins goes down to Tassie and goes and sees the sights. I have travelled around most of Tasmania, but I haven't had the pleasure of seeing the Southern Lights. My understanding is that it's far more impressive once you photograph them. So if you're like James Garlick and you're an expert photographer, I'll put up some of his images now and you can see what I mean. It truly looks incredible, and some of the colours that he gets in the water as well is absolutely amazing. All in all, beautiful coin, love the subject matter, huge fan of Tasmania, so it ticks all the boxes for me and my interests as a collector. If it's the type of thing that you're interested in, feel free to click the link in the description and go have a look at our website. They should hopefully currently be available. If they've sold out, I'll try and get more, but I can only do what I can do. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next time.